All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and get started with today's webinar. I'm Stephanie Johnson. I'm the social media and content specialist at RezStream, and I just want to welcome you to today's webinar about leveraging your email marketing during the busy season. So let's go ahead and get started. So a little bit about me, just so you know who's talking to you today. Like I said, I'm the social media and content specialist. I've been with RezStream for just almost 4 years now. I've been really working on social media, content development, SEO, and really working with our clients on their email marketing campaigns, which truly has come leaps and bounds in the last few years. So it's really exciting to talk to you about it today because there's definitely some new best practices, new tools and tactics that you can be using to really drive reservations during your busy season and kind of just throughout the whole year. A little bit about me, I've been in Colorado for about 7 years. I did grow up in Minnesota, so you might hear that Minnesota Midwestern twang come out, and I do apologize. I've tried my best to get rid of it. I do come with a background in public relations, and I have about 6 years experience in social media, content, and email marketing. And just kind of a fun fact, I've always been a lover of like writing and reading and learning different languages, and right now my fiance and I are learning Italian together. Not really a language that a lot of people speak in Colorado, but it's still kind of fun and a little bit different. So today what we're going to be talking about is email marketing best practices for your busy season as well as just throughout the year. So today I want to cover the different email tools and types of email campaigns you can send, specific best practices, mistakes that you should try to avoid, how to measure your results and your performance in email marketing, and then just some ideas for growing your subscriber list and sharing your email marketing with a wider audience. So let's jump into some of the email tools. Like I said, email marketing is kind of a year-round tactic. There's really never a bad time to send an email campaign, whether you're trying to hype your busy season, encouraging gift certificate purchases during the holiday season, congratulating people on their anniversaries, or encouraging people to come stay with you for a birthday celebration. There's really, again, not a bad time to send an email campaign, but most of us typically focus on our busy season, trying to hype that up and get people to make their bookings out in advance. But something that we do want to keep in mind with emails is that there's about 2.4 million emails sent every single second, and that the average person receives about 88 emails per day. So you really got to focus on making sure that your emails stand out, they're relevant, they're timely, and that the content actually speaks to the reader. Otherwise, they're just going to unsubscribe from your list, because what's the point of getting it if it's not actually going to help them make a reservation? Although a fun fact, email marketing brings in about $44 for every dollar that you've spent, so it does have a really good ROI. And again, when you're utilizing these best practices that we're going to cover today and avoiding these mistakes, you really will see that ROI come in, and you'll get to have a lot of fun with your email campaigns too. So the first question that we kind of want to address is, what type of email campaigns do you want to send? Most people opt for doing newsletters, promotions. You can also do targeted drip campaigns, which you'll see on this slide. So on the left-hand side, you've got, a traditional newsletter. It's going to highlight a specific special or room type or package that you're offering. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to see what we call a journey or a drip campaign. And it's very much based on what the recipient is doing within that campaign. So for example, they sign up to receive a newsletter, they get a welcome message, and depending on what they click or interact with, it's going to trigger a different email campaign to follow up with them. So it's a little more engaging, but there's definitely not anything wrong with just doing your traditional monthly newsletter. Many people prefer that because they know it's consistent, they know what's coming, and chances are still good that you're going to be doing some kind of promotion in there. So the next question that you kind of want to talk about is finding the right email service provider. So popular email service providers include Constant Contact, MailChimp, RezStream. We even have our own Rez campaigns. It's very easy to use, but really you want to find the one that's right for you. And so some ways you can determine that is by looking at cost. A lot of these campaign providers either do flat monthly fees, and so it doesn't matter how many emails you send out, how many campaigns you want to do, you're just paying a flat monthly fee to use their service. Other providers operate on a per campaign basis, so you could be paying, a penny per email sent out each time, and so it really just depends on how often you're planning on doing these. If you're planning on sending multiple emails each month, a flat fee might be more cost effective versus paying for each campaign. Whereas if you're only sending a monthly newsletter and maybe the random one-off promotion email, maybe paying per campaign is a better option. Another thing you want to look at is usability and features. Is it user-friendly? Is it easy to design in? Do they even come with preloaded templates to make it really easy for you to go in and pop in your own colors, change out fonts, make fonts bigger, add your own images? So if you're still looking for the right ESP, do a trial, play around, try and design different types of campaigns, whether that is a monthly newsletter, or you're creating a new package, or you're trying to encourage people to buy gift certificates to your property because the holiday season's coming up and it's a really easy gift to give. Try just playing around in them and see what email tools really work the best for you. You really want to make sure it's user-friendly and fits with your comfort level on the technical side as well as the design side. So now that we kind of know what ESP we're going to be using, what kind of email campaigns we want to send out, let's go over some best practices. So obviously you're not going to be sending your emails to no one. You're going to have a list of subscribers. The easiest way to get subscribers is either to opt them in after they've completed a booking by giving them options on your website for people to subscribe to your email marketing. Obviously you'll want to kind of make it exciting for them to let them know exactly what they're going to get. Are they signing in to get a monthly newsletter? Are they signing up to get quarterly promotions or exclusive packages delivered right to their inbox? Just make sure that they understand what they are opting in for. And then on the flip side of that, we don't want to lose subscribers, but if we want to be following the law and making sure our email campaigns are following today's best practices, you will always need to have an unsubscribe button or link somewhere in your email campaign to make it easy for people to opt out should they want to. You do not want to hide this button. Most people are not going to be unsubscribing when they've chosen to follow you and subscribe to your emails, but you still need to provide that option. The next best practice that we're going to talk about is segmenting your lists. This is kind of a really big deal in email marketing these days because people really like personalized content. They don't just want to feel like they're another number on an email marketing list, getting the same content as everybody else. If you know me, you know what kind of content I'm interested in, or I've stayed with you for 6 years and I always book the champagne package. Why are you telling me that I should be booking it in your email campaign? You should already know that that package gets me every single time. So by segmenting your list, you can really start sending targeted, personalized emails. And depending on the ESP provider that you end up choosing, or even just your own segmenting list process, you can really get detailed. You can you can target people based on their location. So if you know that it's snowing in Denver and you're a beach property, you could send an email to all of your guests that live in Denver and tell them to escape the snow and come on down to the beach because it's nice and sunny and 75 degrees, and boy, wouldn't they like to escape that cold winter in Colorado that we're having. You can also do it by age, city, gender. So around Valentine's Day, you could send 2 segmented lists with pretty much the same content, but just tweaked for, buy her the best Valentine's Day gift. And on the flip side, sending the campaigns to the females asking, oh, don't you want to surprise your male partner with a nice Valentine's Day weekend getaway? It really does help provide a more personalized experience with your content. Some of the nice things about these ESPs is that they will start tracking campaign activity for you. So say you do have one just major list because you haven't ever segmented your list before, you can have the ESP track people based on the links they're clicking, how long they're spending, what they're doing within your email campaign, And essentially, the ESP will create a secondary segmented list for you based on whatever they did, so you can use that list to retarget those people in the future. So if you were promoting, again, that champagne package and 50 people clicked on it, you can take that list and next time just tell them about, your champagne package, or it looks like you were interested in our champagne package before. We'd like to introduce you to our wine and massage package that we also have that might be right up your alley. So it's really allowing the ESP to do the work for you so you don't have to sit there in your Excel spreadsheet and be like, oh, okay, well, this guest is a woman in her 30s and she lives in Denver. It's going to take care of that for you. If you can, try and create your lists or make it easy for you to segment your lists by creating a sign-up form that allows your subscribers to fill in this information for you. So you could ask them, their email address, their name, where they live, maybe their birthday or some other important date that you really want to have on board because you want to use that in your marketing. Not only does it make it easy for you, but it does make it more personalized for them, and then that way the email campaign speaks directly to them when it goes out. Essentially that is, so on this graphic here you will see that you can do custom fields, and again that's exactly where that's coming from. So on that subscription sign-up form, your subscribers are going to be filling out this information about themselves to make it easy for you to target them. The next best practice we have on the list is frequency. So this will be based on what kind of campaigns you're sending, but you should have a consistent frequency, maybe again with the exception of one-off campaigns. But you should establish a frequency with how often you're going to be emailing people, and you might even want to tell them that in their welcome email. It helps set the tone and can help your subscribers feel comfortable knowing that their inbox isn't going to be bombarded every other week with email campaigns. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've tried opting out of Groupon, but they always seem to manage to get back in my inbox because I don't want 16 emails from them a day. But if I sign up for a bed and breakfast website or a bed and breakfast marketing list, and I know they send me an email because they've told me, oh, we're only going to send you one monthly newsletter and exclusive promotions. Okay, great. I know I'm getting for sure one email and maybe a few here and there with something that's going to provide me a discount or a really great experience. That's fine. That's very exciting, and it just makes me very comfortable. So essentially, you just need to figure out, what can you realistically handle? Can you do a monthly newsletter, or do you want to scale back and start with a quarterly newsletter? That way you have a little bit more content to share, and you have more time to design your campaign. Similarly to finding the right ESP, you really just need to figure out, what frequency works best with your schedule, and what are you most comfortable handling? I think one of the things that our clients have a little bit of trouble with is just finding enough content to talk about. They can share their packages, they can talk about the rooms, the amenities, but then it's like, well, there's really nothing going on. And it's like, okay, maybe we need to scale back to a quarterly newsletter so we can highlight, an event that's a few months out, or we can just talk about a generic topic that's happening in that season. So again, just figure out what you're most comfortable with and work with that. So moving on to a few more best practices, all of your email campaigns need to be mobile friendly. About 70% of your subscribers will read your emails on their phone, and similar to your website design, you can no longer ignore mobile users and design sites and campaigns for them second. Your email design tool should show you a mobile preview, so you can kind of get an idea of how it's going to look for your mobile users, how big your buttons are, how strong your call to actions are, how big your content is. Ooh, am I saying too much here and I could just do that with a photo instead? Really design your email campaigns for mobile users. People are on the go, they want to get their information quickly, and you can use your call to actions to encourage them to visit your website, to continue reading your blog, to get all the fine print details about a package. You don't need to put all of that in there. Similar to social media writing, you need to get to the point very quickly, and if people are interested, they will follow up and do all the reading necessary. You do not need to provide all the details there. They will figure it out on their own. Next best practice that we're going to talk about on this slide is personalization. So similar to segmenting your list to make the content more relevant, by adding personalization like the person's name or their city can improve your open rate or even your conversion rate. Studies have shown that using a person's name can improve your open rate by 26%. So don't be afraid to personalize your emails for your subscribers, whether that's in the subject line saying, oh, hey, Stephanie, you know, again, it's snowing in Denver, come on down to the beach, we've got a seat waiting for you. When I see my own name in my subject line, I'm going to be more likely to open it because it's speaking directly to me. Similar with content, if it's framed around who I am and using my own name, I'm going to be more likely to engage with it because it feels like it was written directly for me instead of just a mass audience that, okay, Todd from Boston is also reading the same thing. Like, this means nothing to me because obviously we don't have the same goals, we don't have the same interests in our vacation. So using a person's name and really making that content relevant to them will definitely help your conversion rate. The next best practice is CTAs as buttons. So your call to actions, back in the past, I mean, even 3 or 4 years ago, we tended to see a lot of call to actions as links. You'll still see that on website design, but again, with most people checking their email on mobile devices, you really want to use those buttons. They're easy to click. They're designed to be the right size for people's thumbs as they're scrolling through everything. And you need to make it a little creative and clever. Instead of just doing something like book now, try doing like discover our packages. Make it really easy and exciting for that person to want to click that button to go through to your website. And then finally, we have A/B testing. So A/B testing really allows you to test 2 sections of your email campaign to see what your subscribers like best. Perhaps you want to test your subject line. So maybe instead of doing 15% off, you want to do, you know, no resort fee for stays August 30th through September 4th. Something like that. You can test and see which one encourages more people to open your email campaign and which one resonates with people better. You know, oh, okay, people really like seeing 15% off. I should use that next time I have a discount because I already know people like seeing that number versus, you know, getting something that's not as tangible. You can also test your from name. So for example, if your property makes ancillary revenue from having a spa or a restaurant, instead of just having all of your email campaigns come from the same in name, you can try doing the spa at your in name to make it a little more personalized. People know, okay, this isn't coming from the main property, but it's coming from the spa, so I kind of have a general idea that this isn't going to be package related or accommodations related, but it's going to let me know what's going on at the spa. The next thing you can A/B test is your email content. Now this one can get a little tricky because like any good A/B test, you really only want to test 2 different components. And so with email content, you're probably going to be testing maybe an image, your CTA, or the text within it. Not all of them at the same time, but one of those. So that way you can really identify, okay, this paragraph did better than this paragraph, or this call to action performed much better than this one. You don't want to be testing multiple elements, otherwise you're not going to know, you're not going to be able to pinpoint which change actually made the difference. With A/B testing, you'll want to send those email campaigns to about 15 to 30% of your audience and let it run for a few hours. So essentially, your email service provider will send version A and version B to about 30% of your audience. It's going to be completely random. You cannot choose who is involved in this test. And after 5 or 6 hours, they're going to send the rest, that winning campaign, so either version A or version B, to everyone else on your list. And you can have the winner be determined by its open rate, the total unique clicks, or total clicks on a specific link. So if you're trying to track, again, maybe that CTA, and you found, okay, this one link or this verbiage works better, the rest of your email subscribers are going to get the best performing email campaign to really improve your open rate and conversion rate. All right, so now that we've covered some best practices, let's move on to some mistakes to avoid. So one of the biggest mistakes we see with email marketing campaigns is people just writing a huge wall of text. People have a ridiculously short attention span, so keep your messages short and concise. You should have an attention-grabbing headline, an image, and about 1 to 3 sentences in a paragraph, and your call to action. Again, you want to keep this short and sweet. You want to get across any major details that people need, and then get them moving through the campaign onto your next call to action. If they're interested, again, they will click that link. They will learn more about it. Otherwise, most people are just kind of scrolling through. They're not really reading your campaign. They're kind of just scanning it to see what catches their eye. And so again, you just need to get the majority of the information out there and keep them moving through the email. When it comes to email template design, there's traditionally 3 styles that you're going to be using. So the first is the inverted pyramid that most people will kind of recognize with newspaper writing. So you're going to have your headline, and then as you make your way through the content, it's going to get shorter and shorter and eventually end at the point with that book now button or the call to action button. Next option is your zigzag style, which you'll see on the far right there. Zigzag kind of just forces your eye to move left to right down the page, and so you're spacing out your content in a way that the eye naturally moves. So it's a really easy way to get people to move through your content and read it. The last option is your column style, which you'll see on the left there. So it's very traditional. You know, you're going to have your photo, your title, your text, your button, and that's just going to be repeated down the page. Typically, you won't have more than 2 or 3 boxes in a single column. Again, people aren't really reading this. They just want to get their quick fix and get them moving through the campaign. So focus on your money makers and anything else that's going to help people plan their vacation. The next mistake that we often see is people are trying to get really creative and using a lot of fonts, or they're using small fonts. I don't know about you, but I'm blind as a bat, and when an email comes in that's really tiny font that I have to like pinch and zoom and just to try and read and have to scroll around, I'm done. I'm already clicking back out of that. At this point, it's too hard for me to want to read that content. If you really wanted me to read it, you would have made it bigger so I wouldn't have to zoom in to read your content. Most email marketing professionals agree that you at least need to have a 12-point font, and if possible, try and use a 14 or 16-point font just to make it bigger. Certain email tools will resize your font as they're being sent, or certain email outlets like Gmail will automatically take care of it. But if you can, try and bump up your font a few sizes just to make it really easy to see. You'll also want to opt for email safe fonts. Arial, Helvetica, Tahoma, and Verdana are email safe clients. They'll all come across very well. All email tools can render them and read them. So it's just important to make sure that you're using fonts that are safe instead of trying to be really fancy. And it can be a lot of fun to use really cool fonts, but at the end of the day, if Gmail's not going to be able to render your font, well, half your message is missing and people aren't going to know what they're supposed to do. So play it safe and just use a font that everyone accepts. All right, the next mistake to avoid is boring subject lines. So about 33% of people decide whether to open an email based on subject line alone. So you really want to make it a good one. Try and be creative and encourage people to open your emails. At the same time, you'll also just want to make sure that you're not essentially lying about what's in your email campaign. You know, if you're offering a specific promotion, tease it in your email subject line, or you can even use your pre-header text to share some more information. Your pre-header text is the stuff that shows up after your subject line in your little preview pane. You have about 40 to 70 characters to play with in there. Again, similar to your subject line, similar to all your content. Make it straightforward and to the point. You know, don't try and be all mysterious so people don't even know what they're going to be getting into when they open this email. Make sure they understand, you know, if you're running a new discount or promotion, or you just created a new package. Make it very easy for them to know exactly what they're getting into. For your subject line, most subject lines come in at about 40 to 50 characters, but we have seen some subject lines do really well when they clock in at 65. So taking up just a little bit more real estate and providing a little bit more information can help improve your open rate. Next mistake to avoid is no call to action present, or even worse, a boring call to action. If every single call to action in your email campaign is book now, book now, book now, people are going to be tired of reading book now. Try and change up your language. Use more exciting words to encourage them to continue reading or to get all the details. You know, instead of book our new package, try discover our new package. Don't encourage them to learn more, but plan their adventure now. Really phrase it so it's something exciting, it's actionable, and it's movement. You know, book now, we've all seen that before. We're all tired of it. Make me actually excited to want to click that button and have an experience at your property. And then finally, no review. So always send yourself a test email and read it very thoroughly. For example, if you're going to be talking about the new restaurant that just opened up down the street and you're trying to hype it up and you're asking your guests, you know, looking for a place to dine during a stay with us, if you don't spell check it and you miss a letter and you're going to ask your guests, are you looking for a place to die during a stay with us, is a very different message. It's a very small accident, but in the first email, I'm going to be excited to eat at this new restaurant. In the second email, I'm never going to want to come back to your town ever again. So just do a thorough check. Some email campaign providers don't have spell check built into their templates or their builders. So it's really important to take a really close look at all your words, either run it through a spell check on Word, or even send it out to the rest of your staff and have them look it over. It doesn't hurt anything to have a second pair of eyes look it over to see if there's any mistakes that might have gotten through. All right, so now we're going to move on to some measurement metrics. These are just the different metrics that you're going to use to really understand how your email campaigns are performing, if there's any areas for improvement, or where you're doing really well. So the first one that we always tend to look at is your open rate. So your open rate is simply a percentage of how many people open the email compared to how many receive the email. If your open rate is above 20%, you're doing a pretty good job. But if you can get 30% or higher, you're doing an amazing job. So when you're first starting out, you know, your open rate will fluctuate throughout time, especially as people get used to getting your emails. But about 6 months to a year in, you should really be hitting that 20% mark. If you're not, then it's time to kind of reevaluate, okay, what subject lines tweaks can I make, or do I need to change my from name? Do I need to set new expectations with my email subscribers? Your open rate can really give you some good insight into what's going on there. The next option that we're looking at is your click-through rate. Very similar to your open rate. You're going to want a click-through rate of 20%. But just keep in mind, again, you're going to be in the 10 to 15% range when starting out, because people either just aren't opening their emails or they're quickly scrolling through and don't have time to click on a link. So don't be discouraged if your click-through rate is a little slow as you start out. It will go up, and it's just a really good measure of, again, how are your CTAs performing? Are you using the right language to encourage people to book? Are your buttons the right colors? Is anyone having problems with your call to action language? Your click-through rate is really going to provide that information for you. Then we also have to take a look at your unsubscribe rate. So unfortunately, this is the percentage of how many people unsubscribe from your list because of the last email campaign they received. Traditionally, you're going to try and keep this under 1% at the very least, but if you can keep it closer to about a 0.2 to a 0.3%, you're going to do really well. Inevitably, you're going to have people unsubscribing from email campaigns either because they forgot they opted in, or maybe they moved or something changed in their life. It's not uncommon to see that, but again, you just want to keep that one under 1%. Anything higher than that kind of is a red flag, and your email service providers, depending on how many people unsubscribe from each email campaign, can potentially block you from sending any future campaigns if your unsubscribe rate is out of control. It means that you're probably not following CAN spam laws, or you're not going through the right process of opting people into your list. So again, a 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, up to 1% is nothing to worry about. It's just going to happen. And then the next metric we will want to look at is link tracking. So similar to your click-through rate, a lot of these systems will actually show you which links were popular, how many unique clicks they got, how many overall clicks, and specifically which person clicked them. So if you prefer to segment your list, on your own in a manual fashion, you can start keeping track of some of this information and saying, okay, well, Bob in Boston really likes this hiking package that we've put. Maybe we should put him on this segmented list that only talks about hiking trails in the area or about outdoor adventures that he can have. So you can really start watching, okay, all these different people like these different links, and so you can start, again, retargeting your content, framing it around their interests so that you just improve your open rate and conversion rate at the same time. Then we also want to take a look at social sharing. So this just tells you how many people loved your email and shared it with their network on social media sites. So most often, ESPs are only going to show you Facebook, Twitter, some will show you LinkedIn, some will show you Google+, but they really take into account the big networks. And so that can be kind of fun to know that your email campaign has been shared on social with your subscribers, followers, and friends who hopefully themselves might sign up for your email campaigns. And then finally, we've got revenue tracking. So your revenue metric will tell you how much money you made from that campaign. Another way that we also like to look at the revenue metric is by going into Google Analytics and pulling the medium of email campaigns. And there you're going to be able to see how many people came through to the website, how many of them were new users who have never been to your website before, and how many transactions and how much revenue you made off that campaign. So it's really easy to see quite quickly how much revenue you can drive when it only cost you $30 to send that campaign out, but it brought back $3,000. I'll take those odds any day. All right, so finally, let's move on to some growth tactics. So these are simply ways that you can encourage more people to sign up and subscribe to your emails. So your first option is to always offer an opt-in option after a booking. So when they make their way through the booking engine, at the end, you can either add a little checkbox that asks if they want to sign up to receive your newsletter and email promotions. You can even send them a thank you or a confirmation letter, and then also include like, hey, stay up to date with the property by signing up for our emails here, directing them back to the website to that sign up form, again, with all those options so you can really put them on the right segmented list. The next option is having email subscribe fields on your website. You'll see this on most bed and breakfasts, and most industries will do this as well. They'll just have a little field either on the home page or perhaps in the header or footer that encourages people to sign up for their newsletters. It's quick and easy. You're not going to get as much options when it comes to segmenting there because it's typically just an email field, sign up, and they're done. Another option is to also use pop-ups. So if they've been on your website for 30 seconds and they're moving around, you can have a small little pop-up in the corner so it's not super intrusive, but just saying, hey, do you want to receive exclusive promotions from us? Be sure to sign up for our email. And again, you can either offer that little field right there so they can type in their email address and be done, or you can take them to a preference center, again, where they can add all that different information that you want to collect about them. Another option is to share your campaigns on social. Every ESP is going to give you a social share link. You just copy it and paste it over on Facebook. That way it pulls in your email. It leads all of your followers to a web-safe landing page so they can view your email campaign there. And most often at the bottom of your email campaigns, for people that are forwarding it or for people that are viewing it on social, there will be a link to allow them to opt in to get their email or to get your emails as well. Very similar to the sign up form on your website. It's going to be a very basic, please provide your email and we'll get you on the list. Your next option is to use your Facebook CTA to encourage subscribers. So on your Facebook page, you do have, it's a call to action button. It hovers at the top of your page, and one of the options is you can create a form, or you can create your button that will take the visitors to a form on your website, again, to encourage those people to sign up for your newsletters. And then finally, at checkout, always ask if guests want to opt into your newsletters. You know, make sure they can stay in touch, and if they want to be put on any special list, you can segment them right there. You can add their email address to people who have booked a romance package or people who have booked a hiking package. It's a really easy way to start segmenting your list if you haven't been doing it already. And again, it's just a great way to keep in touch with your past guests and encourage them to come back to your property again. All right, so I'm going to start wrapping it up here. Just some final key takeaways. Again, find the right email service provider and set a realistic schedule for how often you're going to be emailing your guests. You know, you don't want to start out really strong and, ooh, the first Monday of every month we're sending out a newsletter, and then 3 months in realizing how much work it is and stopping to send that, because people like consistency. We like being able to predict when we're going to get communications from people. You need to be using your list to your advantage. So again, making sure that you're segmenting people, whether that's something that you're doing on your own or by creating a preference center so people can opt into whatever list they want to be put on. Really just focusing on making sure that you're writing the right messaging to the right group of people. Next point, designing for mobile users first. Again, more than 70% of your people are going to be checking their emails on the go. So make sure that the campaigns are designed with them in mind. Make the content short and sweet, make the buttons big, make the font big, make it easy for them to understand what you want them to do next after reading that email. You should also be A/B testing your campaigns and keeping track of your results by really knowing what words resonate with your subscribers, by knowing what call to actions work, what images, what subject lines. You can really make sure that each campaign you send out is targeted with those results in mind. So you're going to just improve your email marketing performance overall because you've already tested all these different things. You know they're a winner with your audience. Why wouldn't you be using them in every single campaign moving forward? The next one, just watching your click-through rates and unsubscribe rates. Again, really monitor that unsubscribe rate. If it starts getting out of hand, it's something that you need to address, maybe looking at your list, maybe cleaning your list, or just figuring out, okay, what was in this last campaign that might have encouraged people to unsubscribe. And then finally, have fun. If you've attended any of my social media webinars, you know that this is one of my pieces of advice for pretty much every marketing tactic you do. People know it's a person that's writing the email. They know that it's you that's trying to contact them and share fun things to do on their vacation. So be personable, have fun, make it, you know, something that they're excited to read. It's okay to be funny. It's okay to add humor. It's okay to just be you in the email campaign. All right, and then finally, I am going to do a little plug for our next webinar. We hope you can join us on September 21st when Josh is going to be talking about low season strategies to encourage bookings year-round and even to kind of get you prepped for your next busy season. So I'm going to open it to questions if anyone has any. All right, so we do have a question here. Should my emails always offer promotion? I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I think it's a reason that a lot of people choose to subscribe to your email campaign. Similarly to social media, they're choosing to follow you because they're hoping that you're going to give them something exclusive or a discount. I don't think there's anything wrong with adding a promotion in every email. Now, I wouldn't say your whole email campaign should just be promotion, 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 but you should definitely include one. All right, we've got another question in here. When A/B testing, other than subject lines, what is the most important to test? I'd really say that depends on what you're hoping to get out of it. I would say the second best thing to test would be your content or your call to actions. Again, seeing what kind of language speaks best to people? You know, are there certain power words that encourage them more? Are they more motivated by getting something for free or by getting a discount? So subject line would be the first thing that I would recommend A/B testing, and then your content would be the second one. And then we have one more question. Do you recommend any email service provider? Again, I think that's very dependent on what you're hoping to get out of it. I obviously work in RezCampaigns most frequently, so I know that one the best. Constant Contact does have a lot of pros and some good features, but again, it really comes down to your comfort level with the template, designing anything, any technical aspects, adding links, and then again, cost is another major factor with any email campaign you're going to send out. So finding the right ESP that offers the right options for your email marketing budget. And that looks like the end of questions. So if nobody else has anything else to ask, I'm going to let you guys go. Again, thank you for attending, and we hope to see you on September 21st.